Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to follow my Kerbal Space Program speedrun attempt. So in this video we will be trying to speedrun this Kerbal Space Program Career mode as quickly as possible. Okay, so I have set up a custom game here. You can see the settings. I have boosted a little bit the starting fonts, and I have reduced some penalties. Okay, let's accept these settings and let's get started here. I also have a little timer here. I should be able to complete the entire tech tree in about 2 hours. That is my estimation. And of course, as you can see, the version is heavily modified. I'm using quite many mods here. So as you can see, I have remote tech, and I also have this Kerbin Environmental Institute, which is basically a mod that will allow you to collect science from the Kerbal Space Center area without actually needing to go around with a vessel and collect every biome that is present in the Kerbal Space Center area. So you can collect all the science basically for free. And of course, once you unlock some new science instruments, more science will become available. As well as if you upgrade some buildings, more biomes become available, and so more science becomes available. Anyways, I also got some pre-saved crafts or vessels, so I won't be spending any time on construction in this video. Okay, so let's get started here. First of all, let's collect this science straight away. Basically, currently available science instruments are like something like EVAs and the crew reports, not much else. Okay, let's get the science and let's see what we can do with it. So, as you can see, without flying a single mission, I can already unlock some instruments here and the equipment. Let's start with engineering, basic rocketry, and I still got 130. So how this works is I want to unlock, of course, this science junior here as quickly as possible. In fact, I'm going to do that right now. So at this moment we got the science junior, the barometer and the thermometer out of available science equipment. So also let's unlock the general rocketry here, and I still got 50. Not sure what should I be spending it on. Probably choose the advanced rocketry here. Yeah, that's pretty much all we can afford at this moment. Of course, the next most important science equipment is the seismic accelerometer, as well as the atmospheric fluid spectrovarimeter, and of course the negative gravity detector, which we should unlock as quickly as possible. However, now that I got new science equipment unlocked, I can already use this second time this mod here and collect another 280 science experiment points. And also, since I got a lot of starting money, I'm going to upgrade my astronaut complex and my launch pad, as well as my mission control, tracking station, and my vehicle assembly building. Oh, it seems like I can't exactly do that. Okay. Oh, I just clicked the wrong button there. I didn't mean to do that. Also, we need to take our very first contracts here. Money is going to be a real issue in this speedrun, so I'm just going to collect all the um, contracts that are from this Kerbin World First Record Keeping Society is the name here. So I'm going to do mostly these, and I'm not going to do any of the testing or such things. So the timer, I haven't started the timer here. That is because I want to start the timer after the very first launch here. And let me just check something. I think yeah, so on my video the timer should be on the top right and it shouldn't really move. So let's accept these four, which are gather scientific data, launch first vessel, escaping atmosphere, and orbiting the Kerbin or Kerbin planet. And let's get started here. For our very first mission, we are going to use this Kerbin orbiter here, and also I need to this one is going to have a Science Junior on it, and I need to be able to reset my experiments, so I have to take my scientist on board. Alright, so we are pretty much set here. Let's launch this vessel so I can start the timer. Our preparations should be done for the very first mission here and for our basic speedrun attempt here. Yeah, so I'm just this pretty basic rocket here. It has the Science Junior, and as you may already notice that I am using some mods here, such things as rescaling and some other mods. You can see this is MechJab, and this is automatic science sampler, and also this is X Science, which will allow me to collect science more quickly. Basically, I won't be needing to click all the science equipment. Instead, the mod will collect everything by itself. Okay, I think now I can start my timer and we can finally get started here. Okay, so let's start the timer now and let's launch our vessel. I'm going to use this surface mode here to steer my craft, and also I don't need to see that. Actually, I just missed the EVA report from the launch pad, so that was kind of a mistake here. But that's not a big deal, it's not worth a lot, just 5.6 science points. Let's increase that angle here, or perhaps I should say decrease our pitch. Okay, this is pretty steep angle here, and as you can see the mod is collecting all the available science here. Alright, so our booster is done, let's get rid of that. Now I want to point in that direction. As you can see, my apoapsis has got a pretty high value there, and the atmosphere is pretty thin. I think I can get away with taking this EVA here. Yeah, got that. Flying high. And next will be the space, obviously. So you can see that I overshot the apoapsis pretty much, but that's no big deal. I can still circularize this in just a few minutes. Let's use time warp until we get to space. Okay, now we're currently in space over Kerbin, so let's collect this EVA as well. And all the other experiments are done automatically here. Okay, I got 1 minute to apoapsis, so let's just warp a little bit forward, and now we can start our engine for the circularization burn. Okay, so there is actually quite many tanks here, not only one. And you can see my delta V stats here. Okay, so we are slowly circularizing our orbit near Kerbin. So I want to increase my apoapsis to above 250 kilometers. That way I can also get science experiments from so-called higher space. As you may know, there are lower space and higher space situations. Okay, seems like we are in orbit. Okay, that got a little bit too high, but I don't think that should be an issue at all. Also, I want to make another contract here, which is a science contract here, which should say something like gather science in space around Kerbin. Doesn't seem to be spawning though. There it is, science data from space around Kerbin. I'm going to accept that, and I'm going to send a crew report straight away, like this. And so we have gathered, or we have gained some science and money. Well, actually that was pretty low reward, so not sure if the settings are correct here. Okay, next we are going to increase the warp here. We need to actually gather a few EVAs here. So currently we are in space near Kerbin's water, but next is probably the shores area here. Yeah, we are going to gather this in space near Kerbin shores situation EVA, and I think the next is the grasslands. We are going to collect that, and I think there is not much else here. Let's continue. I think I will get some highlands and things like that from this area. Let's see if there is anything. Highlands, let's get that. If you're lucky, sometimes you can even get the mountains here. Actually, now we are in the higher space above 250 kilometers, so I need to collect an EVA here as well. And of course, all the other science experiments are done automatically. Okay, so let's travel to our apoapsis here, which is approximately here. Now we have to prepare for our descent. We are only going to make a single orbit here. And also I don't really need this landing, the maneuver planner, but I do need this landing prediction. And let's disable those, and let's see if I can reduce my periapsis here. I should be able to land pretty close to the space center, so the prediction goes something like this currently. I got about 500 meters per second of delta V left, but I think yeah, this prediction isn't exactly the most accurate one, but it helps. I think that's good enough for now. Let's just increase the warp. Not much of interest here, but here we got some deserts. which we should take the EVA from the deserts biome as well. Actually, now we are above mountains, but I missed that barely. I think I got it now. Yeah, I got the mountains. Next is the deserts, if I'm able to get that. Actually, I'm going to disable this one because it's pretty heavy on the CPU and makes the video lag a lot. Actually, you know what? The altitude is getting pretty low. I don't think we can catch the deserts in space. Yeah, we are already in the atmosphere here. But anyways, let's continue with our mission. As you can see, the prediction is actually gliding backwards, so I'm turning my craft prograde instead. That way it won't glide backwards as much. And so we are making our very first re-entry here. I have reduced the re-entry heat setting to about 50%, so I don't need to be as accurate. Okay, and of course I'm currently using 4 times time acceleration because there is no other way of doing this in the atmosphere. And this very first mission should yield approximately like 600 science or something like that. Oh, it looks like something is overheating a little bit. Okay, the prediction is pretty good at this moment, but as you can see, it's actually moving a little bit. Let's continue descent. Okay, so the speedrun will consist of about 3 missions in total. So after this, we are going directly to Minimus, and which will yield a lot of science. We will be exploring Minimus entirely in a vessel that has also the seismic accelerometer, the seismic equipment. So we will be getting a lot of science from that one. Also, you can notice that my science experiments here. Let's see if I can review stored data. Most of my science experiments are set to 100% when recovered, so I'm not getting any partial experiments here. That is another mod I'm using. It's just I don't feel like there is a need to revisit the biomes. I just prefer this way, to only have to visit a biome once. And of course, for the sake of speedrunning, it's also pretty handy. Okay, something is happening. Okay, we are entering the lower atmosphere. A prediction looks pretty good. And let's actually switch this to surface velocity plus. And let me try to enable the aerodynamics here. Let me try to adjust my my landing spot here slightly to the left. Yeah, I think I should be landing pretty close to the space center. Yeah, this looks pretty good. If I land in the water, there is no big deal at all. Because we still haven't explored the waters, so that will be pretty good. Okay, we are coming down to the shores next to the space center, which is good enough. Yeah, I think this is pretty nice landing spot, very close to the space center, and we will be able to explore the water here. Okay, let's just glide a little bit longer and then release our parachutes. The broke chute has been released, and the main chutes have been released. I don't need this one. Let's land in the water here, and actually once the main chutes open, they should be opening right now, I can take this EVA while flying low, so it should be pretty safe right now. Okay, collecting that one, and now let's proceed for the landing. This is kinda... I opened them a little bit high, so this takes a few seconds here. Okay, 50 meters, 10, and we should be landing safely in the Kerbin's waters here. Okay, so we have landed pretty safely, and now we can take this EVA from splashdown at Kerbin's shores. Okay, so this is not waters, this is actually shores. However, it's no big deal. Okay. For some reason I couldn't move right there. Perhaps now? Okay. You can see I'm taking another EVA report here, because when I'm standing like this is actually counts as landed instead of splashed down. So, oh, wait a second. For some reason my buttons here aren't really working. Okay, I'm just trying to climb back to my vessel, but oh my goodness, the buttons are completely not responding here. That's weird. Okay, let's see if I can do this way. F. I'm trying to click here, but it doesn't work for some reason. Okay, let me check something here. Okay, switching the window should help a little bit. Climb, climb, climb. Okay, just grab and board. Okay, so the very first mission is complete. Let's recover this vessel. Okay, that took me 14 minutes and 30 seconds, which is not bad. First mission is complete. We got 426 science experiment points, and some refunds and some level here. And let's see if I can upgrade my R&D center here, and if I can unlock some new experiments. Actually, yeah, we really need this one. So there's two ways of doing this. Probably the electrics, and then I'm just going to take the precision engineering and electronics. I still got 200, so let's unlock this one, and let's unlock this one. Stability, yeah, let's do this. Okay, now I need to upgrade my vehicle assembly building, and that will actually add a few biomes, so that means I can collect a lot of more science here. 360. Also all the this accelerometer experiments have been now explored in the Kerbin Space Center area. Now I can even unlock few of I don't need that one, just a few of these. Let's see, advanced flight control. Yeah, let's do this for the sake of MechJab. Not a lot else that I need here. Probably this one. Okay, let's just do the... I don't think I can do anything else. I got only 60 science here. Next, we will be going towards the Minimus, as I told you before. For that, we need our Minimus Lander, and again, I need my scientist. And let's get started. Craft is too heavy, however, so no big deal. I'm just going to upgrade my launch pad the second time here. Let's try now. Okay, no problem. We are able to launch. Okay, so this vessel is capable of exploring Minimus entirely, and I don't need the landing guidance here. Okay, so now I should be taking that EVA and that surface sample that I was missing. Okay, actually it has been collected, so no big deal. Okay, let's do this and let's get started. I can do like 5-degree pitch here, or even let's do that 7-degree pitch. I can also activate my liquid fueled engine here just to give me extra control authority should I need it, and it seems like I do. Yeah, so at some point the craft becomes kind of unstable, so that's when I'm just going to engage my liquid fueled engine here because it has like gimbaling capacity. That should keep the craft stable. Alright. Everything seems to be working pretty fine. And we are separating our boosters here in a few seconds. And let's just hope nothing breaks here. Okay, that was pretty lousy, but let's continue our ascent until our apoapsis is... Okay, it's already 82 kilometers, so that's good enough. Next we of course need to circularize. And this burn is actually kind of a long one, so I should be starting it at about a minute to apoapsis. I think approximately maybe just a few seconds here, maybe now. Let's do this. Okay, so actually I think it's a bit early, but shouldn't be a big deal. Okay, let's accelerate time with maximum thrust. Okay, we are now passing our apoapsis point in 20 seconds. Circularization is looking good. It's fortunate we got some extra altitude here. Okay, the camera has switched, so we are... Oh my god, I pressed the wrong button here. Yes, so my my orbit got a little bit elliptic here. No big deal. Set as target, and now we're going to use the maneuver planner here. We are going to use the whole map transfer to Minimus, and it seems like the node is a complete orbit behind us, almost. So okay, so let's create that node and let's just warp towards it. I think I can warp about 50 times, 100 times, 1000 times. Okay, so this is actually a pretty quick way of doing it. And the estimated burn is 22 seconds, and T minus is about 50, so I need to start at about 11 seconds T minus here. And also there is an EVA report here. Let's actually take this EVA. right now. And let's start our burn. Okay. Not the most precise timing, but no big deal. We should be able to get to Minimus no matter what. Alright, we got encounter with Minimus here. And, okay, I don't really need that anymore. I will be doing some corrections here. Let's get rid of that. And let's get a little bit on the way here. I think this is a good spot for tiny corrections here. So I'm just focusing here, and I want to be landing on some pole of Minimus here. For that I'm going to go a little bit normal plus here. Let's do this. Just a tiny burn here to adjust our approach. Okay, that looks fine. And now I need to go a little bit. I think this is prograde to get the. Oh, wait a second. No, actually we need to go a little bit retrograde, I think. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this so the craft can turn. And just a tiny burn here. Oh, okay, I overshot it. Overshot it because of the limiter was too high. Let's do just a tiny bit prograde this time, and okay, this should do the what I want to do, and a little bit upwards as well. Okay, so this approach looks pretty good to me. Yeah, I want to be landing in some sort of, or actually I want to be landing like in a poles biome. Let's just make another little fix here. Just a tiny bit. Okay, that's a really good approach. That's all we need. Let's just warp. 10,000 times should be good enough. And also I will be making some contracts that are related to Minimus, which are science in space of Minimus and science of surface of Minimus, and also planting the flag. But for those contracts to appear, I need to first get to the sphere of influence of Minimus here. Pretty close. Okay, we have arrived at the sphere of influence of Minimus. Now let's get those contracts here. There should be some contracts like this plant flag on Minimus, which we are going to accept. And also science data from surface of Minimus, accept. And the science data from space around Minimus, accept. Also there is this one undeclinable contract, which is explore the moon. Might as well accept that right away, because we are going to do that eventually. For now, let's enable our landing guidance and show me the prediction. So this is the prediction of our landing spot, which tells us we are landing at the Minimus poles. And also there is an EVA report available here. Let's collect that EVA report. Got it? Okay, so we can see the suicide burn countdown here, which means that we are landing in about 2 hours 35 seconds. Obviously we are not going to wait that long, we are just going to warp a little bit closer here. Have to be pretty careful though with the warp. 4 minutes, 2 minutes. Okay, so we are ready to land on Minimus poles in about 1 minute. Now we're actually in the lower space of Minimus, so there will be more science experiments available. Let's collect that EVA as well. I got 410 meters per second. My orbital velocity is 300 meters per second, which tells me that I should be able to land here. No problem. And also I need to switch my limiter back to full thrust. Let's collect this EVA. And let's warp a tiny bit more. Just a minute on the counter. And 30 seconds. 20. And 10. Okay, well now we're in the poles, but I'm not going to take that EVA just for the sake of security here. We should be starting our burn approximately now. Bleeding out that velocity. Okay, 4 meters per second is going to be our landing speed here. Definitely made it. And actually, I can separate that stage there, and we might as well extend our landing gear and collect this EVA. And we should be pretty safe to land approximately there in the Minimus poles. Just make it a soft landing here. Alright, so we have landed at Minimus poles, and we are going to collect this EVA report and this surface sample by exiting our vehicle. Also, we need to plant a flag, so I'm going to do that right now for the sake of money. Okay, so come on, Bob, you can plant the flag. Alright, for the sake of contract, we have planted our flag. No need to type anything there. Let's board the vessel again. Yeah, the controls are kind of weird here. Also, let's make our first save here. Okay, so how this goes is that I need to explore all the biomes of Minimus, and I'm going to do that by looking at the biome names and trying to land there. So there are midlands here, highlands here, and lowlands here. So we are going this way. Let's try to collect the midlands first. And we are going to travel to that spot, which is this way, using our engines. And we can see on the map where the landing prediction is. So this burn should be sufficient to land at the midlands. Let's try going there. And of course there are some limits on the warp that I can do, but most of the times I can use the 10 times time warp. Okay, camera is really weird because we are really close to the pole, North Pole of Minimus. And you see prediction is midlands, exactly how we want it, and we are going to land there in about 27 seconds. Okay, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and ignite the engine. And actually I want to switch to surface velocity here. Okay, we should be able to bleed out our energy here, or speed, and make it another soft landing on the Minimus. Actually, this is poles. That's not okay. So I kind of got short of my target here. Just few meters, probably. Yeah, there's the midlands here, and I'm already in the midlands, so I basically just few meters short here, which is not perfect obviously, but shouldn't be a big deal. Let's land here instead. Okay. This is Minimus Midlands, so let's collect all available science here, which include the surface sample and EVA report landed. Make a save, and let's head for our next target, which is here, the Highlands. It's this way. And as well as before, we can just monitor our landing prediction here. 10 times warp. And we should be landing in the Highlands. Yeah, we have already crossed the border of Highlands. So I'm going to take this EVR straight away. And now we can still warp to our landing spot. Okay, prepare for landing. In 10 seconds here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, start. Alright, let's land here. Minimus Highlands. Okay, collect our science and continue. Let's make a save and let's go to Lowlands. Lowlands are here. The next is Great Flats and this small area here, which is flat. So we're going to collect all three of them. And that is this way. Okay. Traveling towards Minimus Lowlands. That should be good enough. Warp. Warp, warp. We are on a timer here, so let's try to do this as quickly as possible. Landing in 20 seconds in Minimus Lowlands. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start. Yeah, I'm not using an auto land feature because that doesn't always work in these missions, so I'm just landing by hand here, which should be good enough. Let's turn our craft upwards. Yeah, a little bounce here, no big deal. Okay, we are in Minimus Lowlands, so let's collect our science here. Make another save and proceed to Minimus Great Flats, which is that way. Let's turn that way and burn a little bit. Okay, that should be sufficient. Maybe a little bit more. Okay, let's warp. I will be using warp a lot because that's pretty much the only way of saving time in this game. However, the warp is limited with your altitude, so it's not always possible to use the maximum warps. I'm just collecting EVA report in space over Minimus Great Flats. Okay, so let's prepare for landing here in just 2 seconds. 1, go. Okay, just burned it slightly too much here. Okay, I managed to avoid the bounce, so I have collected science from Minimus Great Flats now. Next is this little spot here, which is actually Minimus Flats. So we're going to move there and collect that as well. flats that way. I think this should be sufficient. Yeah, definitely. Let's warp. Probably even a slight overshoot here as well. No big deal. Prepare for landing in 40 seconds. 30. 20. Okay, let's take this while we are still flying. 15, 10, and 5 seconds. And let's ignite our engine now. Alright, so again, not the best performance here, but should be sufficient. Minimus flats. Collect our science again and make a quick save. Alright, so the next is this area here, which is Minimus lesser flats, and we are going to make a slight shortcut here. Let's get some velocity upwards and then turn this way. As you can see, we are going towards Minimus lesser flats here. This is a slightly longer burn required. I think this looks pretty good. Let's see which time acceleration we are allowed. Only 4 times. And once we reach 3000 meters, we can switch to 10 times. And at 6000 meters, 50 times. So this should be nice and easy transfer. Landing in 50 seconds here. Okay, so automatically switched out from the warp. Take the EVA from space before we land, and then just prepare for landing in 10 seconds here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, start. Okay, a bit of gap between burns here, because I kind of started a bit early. Okay, let's turn the craft upwards. And Minimus lesser flats. Let's collect our science here. Oh, board. Save, and next and pretty much the last is the Minimus greater flats, which are here. But there is also a biome called slopes, which is here. So I need to land approximately at that spot here. Okay, let's try doing this. Let's go a bit up and then go this way. And this trajectory cannot be too shallow because there's actually a hill there, which we need to avoid. But otherwise it should be pretty self-explanatory. Actually, let's correct that orbit. Actually, you know what? Let's just first get to our apoapsis here. Seems like warping has been disabled. Okay, let's get above 3000 meters first, then start our warp. Once we reach our apoapsis, I'm going to fine-tune this landing spot a little bit more in about 7 minutes here. Yeah, this is unnecessarily high transfer, but shouldn't be a big deal. Okay, so we are now at our apoapsis, so I'm going to burn a little bit prograde here. And I also need to turn a little bit this way. Yeah. Okay, so that a little bit backwards as well. Okay, now we're definitely landing in the Minimus Greater Flats, so let's not waste any more time. And also pretty close to the slopes. Let's collect this EVA. Prepare for our landing. And warp as quickly as possible. Okay, now warp is disabled, but I can still use the physical time warp, the 4 times. Alright, landing in 3 seconds. 2, 1, go. Landing in a few seconds. Alright. We have landed at Minimus Greater Flats. Let's take our science experiments and EVAs and surface samples. Make another save. And the very last biome here is this one, the slopes. After which we will be departing. Okay, departing Minimus I mean. And the slopes are this way. Okay, let's see. Okay, now actually that's way too heavy burn. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to stop at the moment I hit the slopes here. Or I'm going to burn like retrograde once I get to the slopes. Okay, should be pretty soon here. Still lowlands. Still lowlands. I'm just hoping it. Wait a second. Come on. Where's the slopes? Okay, it seems I missed the slopes. Oh my goodness. Okay, we should be going backwards towards the target here. Okay, it's a bit that way. Where is it? I know it's very like a small spot, but I should be able to hit it. It's somewhere. Oh, there it is. The prediction is now at slopes, so let's try moving that way. Yeah, it's basically the edge of this hill here is the slopes, so I'm still in lowlands, but the prediction says it's okay. Now I'm in the slopes biome, so let's collect this and let's just land here. Okay, 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. Okay, that wasn't exactly perfect execution, but it's good enough. We are finally able to get our last biome on Minimus explored. Let's collect all our science experiments here. And we are done with Minimus here. I'm trying to quick save, but the vessel isn't moving. Anyways, let's get out of here. So I'm going to use a 30-degree pitch on heading 90. Which should get us to the equatorial orbit here. And let's do something like 15 kilometers orbit. That's good enough. And We don't need those landing legs anymore. Let's switch them in. And I think we can time accelerate towards the apoapsis here. And 2 minutes to apoapsis. Okay, now we're at the apoapsis, so I want to go 0 pitch, and I want to increase my periapsis, basically circularizing the orbit. Okay, that's pretty circular enough for me. And let's switch that out, and let's make a maneuver here. The escape maneuver, return from moon, looks something like this. Yeah. And besides, now that we are here, I can actually make a filter here, Minimus. So you can see 92 out of 92 experiments have been completed. So Minimus is completely explored at this point, and all we need to do is just escape. Okay, approaching my node here, and it's a 10-second burn, so I should be starting at about 5 seconds or here. We are escaping now Minimus. Sometimes these are not exactly the most accurate, so let's do this by hand. I want my periapsis. Yeah, this periapsis is perfectly fine, so that's good enough for me. Now, time acceleration again until we exit the sphere of influence. And yeah, now I just need to fine-tune my orbit a little bit. Wait a second, I have a phone call here. That's unfortunate. Okay, so excuse me for a moment here, I have to answer a phone call. Okay, so I got an unfortunate phone call there, but no big deal. I'm just going to change my inclination here. I want to change my inclination to 0 immediately. So let's do this. Okay, it's pretty close to 0 now. 2 degrees, no big deal. And also I want to lower my periapsis here just a tiny bit to about 35 kilometers. That is already pretty low. Okay, so this should be our approach trajectory back to Kerbin. You have to excuse me for a second here, I get another phone call. No big deal, just it takes a few seconds here. Okay, so I am back. I got interrupted with some real life issues here, but shouldn't be a big deal. Okay, it seems like we got a pretty exciting like estimation here. Anyways, let's just switch that off. Landing guidance. Actually, if I just press this is more accurate. Okay. Let's just warp back to home. We are going to use maximum warping speed here, but you really need to be careful with this one. Still got plenty of delta V for the final approach. Okay, let's try make this a single orbit re-entry. Okay. Alright, so we are entering the atmosphere pretty soon here, and for now it looks like we are simply aerobraking, but that shouldn't really be the case here. Okay, now we are entering the Kerbin atmosphere. The prediction will change because it's not exactly accurate. As you can see, it moves, which it shouldn't. So we are aerobraking here pretty heavily. Let's see if I can manage to get back to Kerbal Space Center area. I should be able to. Besides, I got plenty of delta V left, so I could be making a small burn here. Yeah, to decelerate even faster. We are definitely in a small orbit here already, so yeah, and I got plenty of delta V, so should be no problem getting back to Space Center. Except that I already kinda overshot it. Okay, this seems fine if I just turn retrograde here. Okay, it's not, doesn't want to stay put. Okay, let's increase the orbit a little bit. Okay, let's just accelerate here. Warp time here. As you can see, it's really sensitive when you are low in the atmosphere. Anyways, I will be able to adjust this. Let's just try to skip the atmosphere as quickly as possible here. Okay. Unfortunately, there is no way for me to warp time even faster, because we definitely are in the atmosphere. However, you can enjoy the beautiful view of Kerbin here, and the beautiful amount of science experiments that are on board of our vessel currently. So it looks like the apoapsis is still within the atmosphere, so there is no way for me to warp time faster, but yeah, these re-entries, they kinda take a long time. Time looks like it's approximately 1 hour into the run, and we are sort of in the center of our speedrun, because there is only one more mission required, and that mission will be to the moon, obviously, to the moon of Kerbin, called the moon, which is the pretty much a body that we have not explored yet. Of course, we have not explored Kerbin as well entirely, but we have explored pretty much of it. And once we go to moon, the we are going to have the gravity detector as well, so that way we can maximize our science income from the moon. Okay, so I'm just fine-tuning my approach here. Let's make it something like this. Also, we can adjust it sideways as well, actually the other way around. A normal minus here, because we got plenty of delta V, so we should be able to do this. Now the prediction is really close to the space center, and I should be landing somewhere, probably in the grasslands behind the space center, but we are going to use a retrograde for this re-entry. Okay, it seems like I'm not going to be able to get this mission in under 1 hour. We are definitely going to break 1 hour here before I am able to land, but shouldn't be a big problem. We still got another hour for exploring the moon. And also let's switch that off. And we don't really need that either. Prediction is grasslands, which is also fine. There is some EVA available, but definitely you don't want to take that here. Okay, mountains, highlands, the prediction is still grasslands. Okay. Now we can switch off our autopilot here. And let's make this a ballistic approach. I definitely don't want to land on the mountains, however, so I'm just trying to lift the nose a little bit here. But even though if we land at the mountains, it's still no big deal. It tells me it actually does say we are landing in the mountains here, but I'm just trying to raise the nose to get a little bit of lift. Yeah, that looks okay, this flat area here, and it says it's highlands. So no matter if it's grasslands or highlands, we still have not explored one of them, so doesn't really matter. Okay, so 3000 meters ASL, but the ground is coming up. And we will be deploying our parachutes about here. Just to be safe, on the safe side. And now that we are flying with our parachutes, we can take this EVA as well. While flying, oops, the wrong button here. Let's extend the landing legs and land in the Kerbin Highlands. Let's switch that off. This is going to take a few seconds here. Alright, landing in just a few seconds. We can even assist with our engine a little bit. Alright, let's gather this science as well. Sorry. So I have explored the Kerbin Highlands. Actually, let's see if I can get the surface sample. Yeah, I can, but for some reason the X-Science didn't notify me. No big deal, let's just recover this vessel. That was a pretty successful mission exploring Minimus. It should yield approximately something like 6,000 science, I think. We are going to see that shortly. Yeah, 7,156 science earned for a mission here. Okay, so we got some funds and we got some experience. Okay, sorry for that little pause there. I am having some phone calls here. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about it really. Anyways, we are 1 hour into the speedrun and we got a nice amount of money and science, so let's get spending. And in fact, I want to upgrade my R&D center straight away. It's kind of costly upgrade, but I'm still going to do this. Obviously, we need to unlock most definitely this gravity detector, which is essential for exploring the moon, but also some rocket parts. And the second most important is, of course, the nuclear engine. So let's get researching all these items. Nuclear propulsion, very heavy rocketry, and scanning tech, and advanced science tech. Also, let's grab some solar panels. We got plenty of science, so it doesn't really matter. Pretty much all these items that are tier 2 we can unlock. I got a lot of science, so let's just unlock as many as we can here. Alright, still 3000, so let's unlock the tier 3. These are probably the tier 3. Actually, these are still tier 2, but anyways, let's just unlock those, and I'm left with 1300, so yeah. Out of these, I don't really need anything, and I couldn't even afford them, so yeah. As you can see, after the second mission to Minimus, we got pretty much everything unlocked except for the highest tier here. That's no big deal, because during the next mission we will be able to get even more science and able to unlock everything. So my funds are kinda limited here, even though I have been trying to complete as many contracts as possible. Let's see here. The very last mission is going to be using this moon lander here that I have pre-saved. We again need our scientist. And actually I could unlock even more science using that mod of mine, but I forgot to do that. So this last mission is actually going to take a little bit more time than the Minimus one, because Moon has a lot of biomes, and actually we can see here, if I make a filter on the Moon, Moon surface, so you can see there are 17 biomes on the Moon. Anyway, let's get there. This craft is also kind of unstable, so I have to be really careful with it. Actually, let's do that. Let's do that. Yeah, I'm switching to the precision mode here, because yeah, this craft has tendency to flip over, and because it doesn't really have any wings, or it basically relies on the engine thrust vectoring. Oh no! Okay, let's just remove some thrust. Yeah, you see, I can barely control this thing. Trying my best. Oh no! Oh no, no. Oh my goodness, it happened. It happened, but I think no, I am not fine here. We're gonna have to revert this one. Yes, so sometimes this vessel is really unstable, and the only way to control is just decreasing thrust. And okay, let's try this once more. I'm just going to go absolutely vertical for a few seconds and not try anything fancy here. Also, the autopilot is also unable to control this because the thrust vectoring is too sensitive. I have to control this by hand. Okay, let's I think I used something like 200 meters per second for the ascend here. So let's try this time. So the lower part is for just orbit entry with this vessel, and the upper part is actually for landing on the moon and exploring the moon entirely. So you can see the total delta V is approximately 17,000 meters per second on this vessel, so it's extremely capable vessel. And let's try avoiding any aerodynamic forces here and switch that off. Yeah, this time we can even do the atmospheric analysis. And yeah, apoapsis is 40 kilometers, so we can start to begin the pitch down. Yeah, it's very hard in the lower atmosphere to control this craft, but above 30 kilometers should be no big deal. Yeah, I can already do this, so our apoapsis is really close to 70 kilometers here. All we need to do is just circularize the orbit. Alright. 1 hour 11 minutes into the run. So perhaps the 2 hours was kind of optimistic estimation, because, well, I got interrupted a couple times here. That's also pretty unfortunate. And we are really close to the circular orbit. Actually, I can coast a little bit without engine here. Okay, so very first gravity scan here. Alright, so let's turn that way. As you can see, this is kind of really clumsy vessel because it really has no reaction wheels, or very little. Okay, so let's try to circularize here. Still quite a long way away from the apoapsis, but shouldn't be a big deal. You can see we are in a pretty circular orbit already. So yeah, the camera thing. Okay, so now we should be fine. Periapsis is above 70 kilometers, so no big deal. I mean, that's fine. And we are taking some gravity scans. Now we need to transfer to moon here. We're gonna use the home and transfer. And the node is in front of us this time, which is also great. And you can see this stage has barely any fuel in it. So you see the maneuver is more than the fuel we have got. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to burn a little bit in advance the rest of this fuel, and now we're going to separate the stage, and we're going to continue with our nuclear power here. So these engines are a lot less powerful, and the burn is going to take a long time, and we already passing the T-0 here, but should be still able to get to the moon. In fact, I can even accelerate the time a little bit. As you can see, my thrust to weight ratio on Kerbin is only 0.33, which is a really low thrust to weight ratio, but on the moon should be sufficient. Actually, it is, because I have tested this craft. Okay, so we're slowly raising our apoapsis to moon level. And I think we have an encounter here. That's correct. Let's remove this node and let's do the fine-tuning next. Fine-tuning of our approach. Yeah, we're going to get a lot of gravity scans during this mission, so as you can see, grasslands and all the highlands and everything else, mountains. Okay, so if I focus here, you can see this is our exit point, this is our entry point, so this is our approximate landing position for the moon. But I want to land approximately in this area here. But I'm not sure if I should be adjusting my approach quite yet, because you know, moon is rotating a little bit and there's still plenty of time until we get to moon. So I'm not going to adjust my approach quite yet. I'm just going to enter the moon's sphere of influence, and then I'm going to do it. Badlands, shores, water. Cannot. Why can't I collect that? I collected it. Okay. Slowly approaching the sphere of influence of the moon. Collecting all the gravity scans on the way. And we have approached the moon's sphere of influence here. We are now going to collect all this science and also this EVA. And of course I should be expanding my solar panel here, because otherwise we might lose control. Now I want to adjust my approach so that I'm landing approximately in this area here. Now that means I need the radial plus, and I don't really need that, but I do need my landing guidance. Okay, that looks already pretty good. Alright, so I want to be landing in this area here. There is a concentration of biomes in this area. There is actually poles, then there is there should be like polar lowlands as well. Can't seem to find them right now. Poles, Highlands, Polar Lowlands, Polar Crater. Then there is Midlands and Highland Crater. So there's 6 biomes near this area. I want to be landing close by to this area here. Okay, let's try adjusting our orbit just slightly here. Okay, that's the wrong way. That's the way I wanted to go. Okay, then a little bit radial plus, because, yeah, that's pretty much all we need. Let's save here, and there's 1 hour and 30 minutes on our counter, so let's bleed out that time. Meanwhile, collecting many gravity scans here. 30 minutes, 20 minutes. Okay, 2 minutes. And let's prepare for our landing here. So we are here approaching our desired landing spot, and in this mission I actually will be using the automatic landing autopilot here. Okay, so we are approaching Moon from this direction. Let's deploy our landing legs, and the autopilot has beginning the deceleration burn here. Now we can just increase the warp. If we land a little bit backwards, it doesn't really matter. Okay, 1 hour 20 minutes into the run, and the last mission is a bit over 1 hour, so yeah, it's probably gonna take 2 hours and 30 minutes approximately. But as you can see, the progress after the second mission is already pretty high. Let's actually try something here. If I take this EVA, yeah, the autopilot stops firing, which is kind of not perfect. Okay, time accelerate. Yeah, so you can see the thrust lever here is not at the maximum, which means that I have some leeway for this suicide burn. And currently the prediction is Highlands, which is fine. Of course, the engines do provide some electricity, so I don't need my solar panel. And let's see where we're landing. Approximately there. Seems like a pretty uneven spot, but there should be no big deal. Midlands. Okay. I want to take this EVA, but then there is a danger of us crashing. So probably I shouldn't be doing that. Yeah, you can see suicide burn countdown is already at 0, which is a little bit alerting, but should be still sufficient. And also we almost ran out of fuel from these drop tanks here. Only 20 meters per second surface speed, and we have almost landed. Yeah, the autopilot knows its thing, so let's kill the rotation. We have landed on some slope in Moon Highlands, So we can take these experiments here. We still got a little bit of fuel in the drop tanks here. Okay, so highlands have been explored. Actually, I can take the checklist here. No, let's switch that off. And next, let's proceed to... Wow, there is even a Farside basin here. That's interesting. Okay, can I get to Midlands if I just slide here for a while? Because the Midlands are that way. Okay, I don't want to waste any time, so let's just fly that way. Okay, that is actually polar crater, and I need to take that EVA as well. Okay, let's try landing here. Okay, so we have explored the highlands. Now we have explored the... Oh no, this is still highlands. I need to go that way. Okay, this is not looking good because I can't control this craft. This is definitely the polar crater here. Okay, so we have 35 Delta V in this drop tanks, so let's get rid of them next. And actually, let's see our contracts as well. Active contracts. Explore the moon. I didn't collect the the moon contracts here. Offered science data from surface of moon. That's we're gonna take that, and space around moon. We're gonna take that, but I don't think. Okay, plant flag on the moon. We're gonna take that as well. And actually, let's get rid of our drop tanks here, and let's plant that flag. Engage the jetpack and plant the flag. Okay, no need to type anything. Okay, let's board here. Come on. Come on! What's going on? I couldn't board. Board. Thank you. Okay, saving. Let's explore I think Midlands next. I got the polar crater and the highlands, but let's do the Midlands. Midlands is somewhere this way. It's probably like halfway from polar crater to highlands. Let's see. If I can do this. Okay, so I think I can land here. Yeah, this is definitely Midlands, so there is another biome right here below us. So I just grabbing the EVA from space. Collecting all the science. Can't really save because I'm sliding. Next, let's try the polar lowlands here. Polar lowlands seems to be that way, but I need to go slightly steeper up. Yeah, this craft is really heavy at this point, but still should be controllable. Okay, so that looks like polar lowlands. Let's try landing that in that spot. 20 seconds. 15, 10. Land somewhere, please. I think the autopilot can manage this. Let's grab that EVA. And land. Okay, got the polar lowlands here. It's really important not to tip over in this craft. Cannot quick save while moving. Okay. Poles. I need to get the poles, which is actually here. Let's get that way. So I'm getting like 6 biomes from this very small area, which is perfect. Polar lowlands. Still polar lowlands. Now it's poles. Okay, I should be landing at the poles now. Yeah, that looks okay. Yeah, this is definitely the poles. Let's grab that EVA as well. You have to be pretty quick about it because there is not a lot of leeway. I hope I'm not crashing here. Oh shit. I just lost all my engines and I didn't quick save. That's a bit unfortunate. Let's quick load here. Exactly, don't do that. Oh my goodness, this is the polar crater. So which one did I get after that? Midlands, right? I still haven't explored Midlands. Yeah, there it is. Oh my goodness, that's actually pretty way back. Pretty long way back. But let's do this quickly so. We should be able to do that, but it doesn't always work. Okay, so let's just get the Midlands here quickly. a really steep slope here, but should be still enough time to get all the experiments. Got it. Now let's just go that way. Until I get polar lowlands. Yeah, there. Slightly that way. Yeah, that should be the polar lowlands again. Attempt number 2. Okay, I got the EVA this time. Let's actually save this time mid-air so that I don't have to repeat this again. Okay, getting the polar lowlands here as quickly as I can. Got it. Now need to get the poles. The pose is here. Yeah, it's a bit hard to control the craft by hand all the time, but and I'm already 1 hour 35 minutes into the mission here. Okay, it says poles, so I can stop the engine and switching to landing. Okay, I'm landing in the poles now, according to this prediction. Okay, this time I'm not going to try to grab the EVA while landing, so it should be more safe that way. Okay, so we have landed at the poles. Saving here. Alright, next. So I did get the midlands and the poles. So there was like a tiny bit of some special biome here that's not supposed to be here. I think it was like Farside crater or something like that. If I could get that, I could actually I don't think I can get that though. There's like really tiny spots here that allow you to make shortcuts. Farside basin. Holy. I suppose I really want that, because the Farside basin is actually somewhere here. But I think I can get it from this one. Okay, let's try this. Okay, it's that way. I can actually land pretty precisely on top of it if I try really hard. So it's right there. Farside basin, that's amazing. Okay, let's do this. Now warp and then land somewhere. Yeah, I'm landing at the Farside basin, which is not even close to this area here. Let's just hope we are not crashing here. But I didn't collect the EVA either. Okay, so I have landed on the side here. Okay, whatever. Can I get my vessel up though? Yep. The landing legs worked perfectly. Okay, so I have explored Farside Basin as well. And now, Midland Craters. Actually, Highland Craters is here. Let's get there. I think it's this way. And let's collect that EVA though. Now I have to reset my target. Okay. So everything is not going exactly perfectly, but I still am pretty much on time for the 2.5 hours. Also, this is an example of how you explore the moon in a as quickly as possible method. Let's see. Trying to land here. I actually got pretty much a lot of lateral velocity here. I hope my autopilot can handle this. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Highland Craters. Let's grab that EVA. And still not crash. Okay, so I got the Highland Craters. Now, you can see that 7 of 17 moon biomes have been explored. And I think the next one is actually Lowlands. But I want to get here next. So here we can explore the Farside crater, canyons, and the lowlands. I got the Farside basin, which is really amazing. Let's get here. It's that way. Okay, let's disable this for now. Okay, steep cliff. So you can see my thrust to weight ratio is 3.13 and it's constantly going up because I am burning fuel. And for this burn we actually need time acceleration here. Let's just go prograde for the most efficient burn. Okay, I need to fine tune it a tiny bit to this side, I think. Nope, the other one. This side. Oh my god. Come on, stop. Okay, I think that should be good enough. Saving here and start the war. Okay, we are already above the Minimus Lowlands, so I'm going to grab the EVA here. Got it. Now let's just land somewhere. And no, let's just decrease the speed. Alright. Now the autopilot should handle this landing. Wait a second, I didn't get the EVA. It's weird. Now I should got it. What? Why is this still here? Anyways, I think I got it. Oh no, I don't want to land in the Midlands though. Let's go up. Yeah, we need to go there. Okay, it tells me... Okay, now it tells me that it's Lowlands. So I need to land in the Lowlands. I can't believe I'm getting this because I did get the EVA report. Okay, this is Minimus Lowlands. Got it? Saving. Alright, the save worked. Now the canyons and the Farside crater first. Farside crater. Land somewhere. This is the Farside crater, so let's grab the EVA and land. Okay, we have explored the Farside crater. Now comes the canyons. Which is a little bit this way. I think it's over that little hill here. Okay, I think this is the canyons. I'm using the autopilot, landing autopilot, because that way I can actually warp during the descent. So it makes it a little bit faster. Okay, we have landed at the canyons now. Collecting science. Saving. Now, there is a tiny secret spot in this area, which is, it's this one, East Crater. Can you believe this? There is actually a little spot of East Crater here, so which makes this a lot easier, because East Crater is actually really far away. The real one. But if we manage to get the biome here, then we are definitely doing very well. Okay, let's do this and try to land in that little spot of east crater. It's basically right there. And our stage is also almost run out of fuel here too. Okay, so it tells me Midlands, which is not perfect. Oh, I just barely missed it, I think. Yeah, it's just a tiny bit that way. Okay, let's see if we can slide that way. And perhaps we are arriving at the east crater, because it's just a few meters that way. Yeah, this is kind of very slow, but we are moving at 1 meter per second. But it's really tiny area on this slope, the east crater. I just think I can... should I burn a little bit? Yeah, it's just here. Yes, so just few meters overshot the one. Okay, now we can get the science from east crater here, which is kind of cheating. Okay, I got the canyons, I got the lowlands, I got the Farside crater, I got the east crater. Now I'm getting this way to this southwestern crater, then northwest crater, northern basin. That's our route. So let's get here. Also, I'm trying to grab this EVA. Got it. Now I need to reestablish my my target here, so I can turn that way. I should be heading about this way. Okay, let's proceed to this. What is this? Southwest crater, I think. Also, almost running out of fuel in this stage as well. Let's just time accelerate. Oh, this slow land. Okay, let's do something here. Let me just try to get that lowland EVA. Now it is active. Come on, take it. Board. Okay, now it's no longer bothering me, so let's proceed with our plan. Almost run out of fuel in this stage. Let's just accelerate time. Okay, as you can see, I'm running out of fuel. Okay, so the tanks have run out. Now I'm on a single engine only. Still got 8000 delta V, which should be sufficient to explore the rest of the moon, so let's just proceed here. It doesn't really matter where exactly do I land, but somewhere near the center. And yeah, decelerating with this single engine, it takes kind of a long time, but the autopilot can luckily do it in a warp mode as well. Yeah, can definitely do it, so These landings are going to take a little bit longer than the ones with the 3 engines. But shouldn't be a big deal anyways. Okay, we are approaching the 2-hour mark here and we are almost done with this mission. We are missing just a few more biomes. Actually, we are missing 6. This one is the 6th one. And after this, we are only missing 5 more biomes. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure I can do it in under half an hour. So, let's try doing this as quickly as possible. There have been few mishaps here and interruptions, so I'm sure some of you can do the same thing even faster, but this is my way of doing it. Let's grab this EVA and continue with our landing. Okay, we have landed at Moon's southwest crater, collecting all the EVAs and other science, and 5 to go, which are northwest crater here. Let's get there. As you can see, it's the vessel is kinda really heavy and has a low TVR, but shouldn't be a big deal anyways. Actually, it's this way. I was burning the wrong way. Okay, time acceleration, please. As you can see, it's ascending much more slowly here, but still sufficient. Okay, I lost my target again, but it's no big deal. I'm just landing somewhere here. Something like this. Warp, warp, warp. 10 times to 50 times. That's the northwest crater. Let's grab the EVA. And warp. I think the autopilot can handle it from now. Okay, so we are approaching the 2 hours mark here, which was my estimation for this entire playthrough. Unfortunately, of course, everything didn't go exactly as smoothly as possible, but it's still pretty good time. Okay, we are now exploring the Moon's northwest crater. Oh my goodness! What the hell happened there? Tipped over. Okay, that's definitely not perfect, but I think my legs can help me. Yeah, the legs work absolutely perfectly on this mission. Alright, let's proceed. So we need to grab the Midland crater somewhere here and then go to the northern basin. Actually, there is one here, and there is very close by the northern basin. So we're going that way. Yep, just aim for the target and burn for it. Really easy. Whoa. Shouldn't touch the controls though, because they're really sensitive. Yeah, we are going to grab this one, which is I think it's Oh, what is it called? We're gonna see that in just a second here. Northern low. No, wait a second. I need to go that way. Northern basin, I think. Oh my goodness, I can't hit it. Northern basin, exactly. So, let's try doing this quickly. Okay, so I need to grab the northern basin and then I need to grab the midland craters. I hope this bird was started early enough. Yeah, I think it is. There it is, the northern basin. Landing at a really awkward spot here. Also, I need to grab that DVA. I think the best time to grab it is on the very final approach. When the speed is at 3 meters per second. Yep. And trying to keep the vessel upright this time. Got the northern basin here. Now let's grab the midland craters, which are just a tiny bit this way. Very close by. There's actually a crater here, so we just need to get that way. Midland craters, that is. Just a little bit more. I think that's good. Let's try warping here. Okay, 5,000 is the limit, so. Yeah, midland craters. Let's grab the EVA and proceed with our landing. Come on. So, we are grabbing the midland craters here, and we are only left with 2 biomes after this. And so, I'm definitely gonna make it back home in 30 minutes, I think. If everything goes smoothly. Okay. Come on, land already. Alright, we have landed at the Moon Midland craters here. Oops. We grabbed all the science. Now we just need to grab. We already got the east crater, so we don't need that. All we need is this twin craters here, and the last one is this one, which is east Farside crater. So only 2 more biomes are unexplored. Oh my goodness, what just happened there? Okay. My settings were messed up, but that's no big deal. We are going this way, I think. Yep, we are definitely going that way. Yeah, my keel rotation button wasn't pressed, so I totally messed that up. However, that should be fine, no big deal. Let's do prograde. Actually, let's do a bit this way. Okay. Approaching the twin craters. Okay, that's our transfer to twin craters. Let's do this quickly. One minute on the suicide burn counter. Let's see what the autopilot says. Yeah, this should be fine. Okay, let the autopilot do its job and hope we are landing in the twin craters. Yeah, we definitely are. Okay, so the game seems to be lagging a little bit. It must be because of the physical warp. Just most of the time I just want to see where exactly am I landing. Oh, on a slope. That's unfortunate, but should be still fine. Okay, let's grab the EVA. Got it. And now let's grab the surface samples. Got it. Saving. And the very last biome here is this one, East Farside Crater. And we are pretty much ready for exit burn after that. Because it's really close to the you can get a nice equatorial orbit from there. Still got 3000 delta V. Should be sufficient for escape. For one more landing and then the escape. Yeah, definitely enough delta V. Alright, we got the very last biome here. Let's warp. Moon's East Farside Basin. No, crater. Sorry. Okay, let's land in it. There it is. Actually, I can grab this EVA and then proceed with my landing. Oh my goodness. 36 seconds. Actually, you know what? I think the exploring of every single biome on the moon is not exactly required, because we are going to get a lot more science than we need from this. But I think it's still a good practice to explore the entire body every time you get chance to get on it. And so I'm exploring the moon entirely. I'm not going to bother with all the upper space experiments on the moon, because they're really not required to unlock the tech tree. So after this very last biome here, we are actually going to escape the moon. Okay, so we have landed at the East Farside Crater and we have explored it. Now let's save, and actually let's make a safety save here. So let's make an extra save here just in case. And now I'm going to use a 45-degree pitch in a 90-degree heading to achieve a what is called equatorial orbit. Alright, so we don't need our legs anymore, we do need our solar panel. we are going for about 30-kilometer orbit here. Let's do it. And 20-kilometer. And just a few more seconds. Okay, we are above 30-kilometer. Now we can coast towards the apoapsis. And then we're just going to burn straight ahead. Here. Just to circularize the orbit. Okay, so we next what we do is we're going to escape the moon, and for that I need my maneuver planner. We are going to return from a moon here. Okay, so that's good enough, and let's create that. Okay, so there is the exit node. Let's proceed to the exit node. 10 minutes past 2 hours. Okay, so there's definitely not a lot of time remaining here. Let's just execute that node with a warp. Yes, I still got my landing guidance here. And let's just accelerate the time. Okay, let's just abort this node because my periapsis is really low. This autopilot totally overshot it. But yeah, okay, so let's accelerate time. I got some gravity scans. Okay, we have exited the sphere of influence of the moon. Now all we need to do is just return to Kerbin, and actually that is a way too low orbit. I mean periapsis. I need to increase that a little bit. Oh, no, that was too much. I pressed the wrong button here. I think about 35 is good. Okay, that's good enough for me. I'm not bothering with inclination changes. Just re-enter and end this mission as quickly as possible. Oh, Badlands. That's something I have not explored yet. Take that EVA. Why not? And let's change the camera view. Okay, so I will be aiming for the space center here, because yeah, you don't really want to land in the middle of like deserts or something. And let's do this re-entry retrograde, and I need to stove my solar panel definitely here. I got an atmospheric analysis from Grasslands, I think. Okay, so we are aerobraking now. The timer looks like it's 2 hours 2 hours 13 minutes. Definitely going to land before it's 2 hours 30 minutes. All I need to do here is just lower the orbit and then try to aim for the mission control or I mean the space center here. Unfortunately, there is limits on the warp. Yeah, I need the world trajectory here. Okay. And I still got plenty of delta V, so I think I should be burning right now. Yeah, to make it a single orbit re-entry here. I actually have to burn quite a lot here. So I'm aerobraking here, and then I want to land here. That's the plan anyways. Still got 1600 delta V, so should be no problem at all. As you can see, this vessel started with about 16,000 delta V, and I have managed to explore the moon entirely. Now I still got 1500 delta V left, and I'm just reducing my orbit to make a nice landing near the space center. I think I'm pretty close. Okay, so that's good enough for now. Let's just travel to that apoapsis and then fine-tune it even more. Okay, some kind of a gravity scan. Another gravity scan from deserts. Okay, so I need to burn a little bit normal minus here. Just a tiny adjustments here. I think that's good enough. Then just a little bit retrograde here. Okay, that's good enough because this prediction is anyways not very accurate. But we have now entered the atmosphere on the night side, and the timer looks like it's 2 hours 15 minutes, and we are on our very final approach to complete this video and to wait a second. What's happening here? Why is that prediction there when my trajectory goes there? Okay, something wrong with the with the prediction here, but it's not a big deal. I'm landing definitely in this area rather than this. Okay, so something wrong with the automatics here, but not a big deal at all. Yeah, I just wanted to make a nice ending and land really close to the space center. Unfortunately, I didn't manage to do that because, yeah, this line is kinda really a lot off. So, anyways, we are now passing 15 kilometers altitude mark, and we are over Kerbin's water, and 10 kilometers. We are ready to deploy our drogue shoes in just a few seconds. I can actually switch off my autopilot. And 5 kilometers. Let's deploy our drogue chute here. That should slow us down significantly. And 2 kilometers. The drogue chute has opened, and the last kilometer, and we should be deploying our main chutes now. The main chutes have opened. Let's actually collect this EVA and proceed to land. Okay, so not very close to the space center due to some bugs in the program, but Still good enough. The last 200 meters. 100, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, and we have landed. Completely intact. And we can even collect more science here, because we still have not explored Kerbin waters. Got it? Let's save here and let's recover this vessel. So at that point I should be stopping my timer, because now all that's remaining is just to unlock every single node, and we have passed the Kerbal Space Career mode. Kerbal Space Program Career mode in under 2 hours 20 minutes. So yeah, I want to stop my timer here. If I'm able to. Okay, so wait a second. Yeah, my programs here are not exactly working. Just trying to stop the timer here. Okay, so my stop the timer, please. Okay, so it also reset the timer. However, you saw that it was about 2 hours 20 minutes, at which point I managed to land. And if you really don't believe me, so I got I got about 14,000 science from that mission, and I'm definitely going to be able to unlock every single thing on this tech tree here. Let's just do that. I think I still will be left with about 4,000 extra science. But yes, everything here is completely unlocked, even the ones that are not in the core game. As you can see, I'm left with about 4,000 or 3,700 science here. And of course, the money is not exactly too high, so I would not be able to upgrade everything. But however, I can upgrade my vehicle assembly building and admin building. And let's see here. Mission control, tracking station, and yeah, I still got about 1 million, but I'm not going to bother with the space plane hangar or the runway here. It's just it really depends on you what you want to do next. So what I want to do requires kind of a lot of money, so I don't want to waste it on upgrading the unnecessary buildings here. Okay, so anyways, thank you everybody for watching, and that was a Kerbal Space Program Career Mode speedrun in under 2 hours 20 minutes. Thanks for watching, and I see you next time. Bye.